Hi, I'm Mike Ford. I'm the founder of SiteMinder, and I am bringing you a roundup of our World Hotel Index trends. And I'm bringing it to you from Sydney, where we're very much locked down again, so it feels a bit like Groundhog Day. So the first point to be made is that after consistent growth in hotel booking volumes since January, global momentum has actually taken a slight back step in July, falling from a high of 67% of 2019 levels in the last week of June down to 61% of 2019 levels in recent days. In Europe, where summer bookings have really been key to momentum, the last week has sort of highlighted mixed attitudes to travel that still exist. So there are 8 of the countries in the World Hotel Index that in Europe that we've seen a growth in booking volumes, but 9 have actually contracted as the Delta variant makes its presence felt. But despite this, we've still got some really positive storylines to report on. In Americas, for example, Canada and the United States continue to perform pretty strongly. Canada is now at 83% of 2019 levels, and it's the third fastest rising country on the World Hotel Index this week. And the US has remained pretty stable at 84% of 2019 levels, so very respectable booking volume coming out of the United States. Another area I'd like to highlight is Central Europe, where the cases have been fairly low in numbers, and there's been an influx of international reservations as well. So that's ensured that places like Austria, Czech Republic, and Germany have been the 3 sharpest European risers since May. Here in the Asia Pacific, there's some interesting experiments. For example, the travel bubble between New Zealand and the Cook Islands has ensured that ongoing booking volumes for Cook Islands are greater than 200% of 2019 levels. So that could lay a blueprint for other Pacific Island nations to follow and similar arrangements around the world. But while enthusiasm for travel remains strong in much of the world, there's also growing comfort in taking a wait-and-see approach to making plans. Obviously, this is driven by many disappointments. I know I've had several holidays cancelled, and so I think people are getting used to the fact that longer dated bookings may not go that well, and trying to take advantage of shorter dated travel plans. In January, we actually reported travel planning was making a comeback for the first time since the pandemic began. But as we approach 18 months since hotel bookings were first impacted by the virus, we can see that this is largely no longer the case as people are back to the short-term window. Across all of the countries in the World Hotel Index, 70% of bookings made in the last 2 weeks were actually just for July and August. So very short booking window. And for countries like Norway and Sweden, this number's 85% of bookings that have been made in the next month or two. While there are instances of markets that rely heavily on international bookings, such as Maldives, Costa Rica, Namibia, bucking the short-term booking trend, the limited number of bookings for later in the second half of 2021 for the majority showcases how short-sighted planning has actually become for many around the world. In Australia, we've really seen how nimble travellers can be. With recent lockdowns, we've seen borders between states closing or restrictive travel between regions, which has resulted in large numbers of cancellations in places like Townsville, which is in northeast Australia. But as these cancellations happen, availability comes online. We've seen that availability get snapped up pretty quickly by those that are eligible to travel there. So, for example, soon after borders were closed and cancellations were made in Townsville, we saw the booking momentum rise from more local travellers and again moving towards 100% of 2019 levels. So that just highlights that there is a bit of a last minute wait and see approach, which is becoming more popular than ever before. We'll continue monitoring trends across the World Hotel Index over the next few weeks, and we look forward to keeping you up to date with what's happening with bookings next month. So until then, take care, and we'll see you soon.